So how has the pandemic changed your outlook towards the way that you're operating? I mean, has it been a significant difference to sort of work from home than, the time that you were working together collaboratively? If so, what are the two, good things or the bad things from that?
Towards customers, not much has really changed. We have customers all over the world. We have customers in India, we have customers in the US, Canada, the UK, all over Europe, Australia. So, I mean, we wouldn't go to customers. It's also, they're small customers, so it would make sense to fly. We have like a bit over 2,000 customers. I would be in the plane all day selling to them, I guess. That doesn't make sense. But we have had to change things internally. Because we believe very much in being in the same place. As a way of making it easier to work together, because you're in the same place, it's easier to communicate, you hear things. What we figured though when we started working from home about a year ago is that actually a lot of that assumption was wrong, because we were relying to a certain extent on, let's say, accidental communication.
Sure.
You would hear something. And it wouldn't be organized, wouldn't be systematic. And when we went remote, like we all started working from home, we had to revise a lot of things. I think in the first 2-3 months, we changed so much about the way we communicate internally. To give you a few tips on what we learned, but if you type remote team Salesflare into Google, I think you'll find an article about it as well.
Sure.
A good one is at the end of each meeting, we reserve 10 minutes nowadays to write up announcements.
Perfect.
So we keep the meetings limited, first of all, because we notice that if you're like more than 3 in a meeting, usually only 3 are actually in the meeting and the 2 others are not participating in the discussion anyway. They're just like hanging around. So we keep the meetings limited, but that means then also that people might not know what's being discussed in the meeting. We take elaborate notes on everything that's discussed, everything that we decide to do, everything that we decide not to do is like a Google Doc bullet point style. Every single thing that we discuss is in there. So we're typing during the meeting. It's also a way of converging when you're typing, converging on what you discuss. But then at the end of the meeting, as I was about to say, we reserve about 10 minutes to make an even more concise summary of what we discussed and what we decided. We basically think through the question like, what is it that the others in the team should know about what we discussed in this meeting? We write that down, we agree on it, and then we put it in Slack, which is our internal communication platform. Everybody can read the small summary. If they want more, they can click through to the document, and they can know everything that was discussed, but at least they are up to date on what they need to know. That's one thing that made us so much more effective when it comes to meetings and making sure everybody knows everything.
Sure. So do you use some sort of a document management system or some sort of something like a Confluence or Jira or something like that to keep track of all of this?
This is Google Docs, but for issues and stuff, development, we have GitHub. We keep all our issues and all in that, and if we project manage that's nowadays with Clubhouse.
Okay.
And I don't mean the Clubhouse that is the audio platform, but I mean Clubhouse, the Trello replacement. I think that the blasting of emails and LinkedIn connection requests is slowly going to reach its peak. Yeah, I think from here people get so annoyed that it's going to tip into the other direction, where it's only the ones that really try to make a connection and don't sell anything right away that are going to be successful, because people are just sick of all the stuff they get. They've reached a sort of a point where I even see some people saying, I'm closing my LinkedIn account because I'm getting so much crap.
Oh, what is the alternative? I think, how do you then reach out to someone that you really want to talk to? That's more the question, because I get what you're saying. Today the average person who's at a level to take a decision for a company would probably get like 100 requests a day, right?
Mm-hmm.
That can be really annoying. But how, other than that, I mean, see, there's no physical intervention anymore. Offices are shut for the next 6 months. So how do you see people reaching out to them? Is email the only way left now, or?
I do think LinkedIn connection requests work, but you cannot lead with a sell, and you need to focus more on building relationships than on selling. I think you got a connection request from me because you started a trial on our software.
Absolutely.
I offered to help.
No, absolutely. That's a different equation altogether, right? So that's when we're only working together. But let's assume that for 1 second it was the other way around, and I was approaching you to help you with marketing and advertising solutions, right? So obviously, you have a more productivized sort of system where, people will come in and buy stuff, and then you sort of get connected to them. But let's talk about us for a second. We're an agency today, and then if we have to reach out to a brand manager, right, and we don't know this person personally, and also added to that, it's the pandemic situation right now. There's no way that you're going to go in and wait in his office and probably, get a glimpse of him and say hi to him, right? So there has to be a way in which you probably use some other alternate form of getting connected with that person whom you think is going to eventually give you business. So what is it that you think are those 1 or 2 things that will help me do that more effectively?
What you could do, for instance, is what you're doing with me now, but then offer people that, say like, hey, you're a brand manager there. I have this new blog and podcast, and I would like to hear your opinion on where things are going. We'll feature you on there. I don't know what, we have that many listeners. And then you reach out to them. You have this chat. It creates a personal relationship because you actually have a chat and you're interested in them. You'll talk somewhere about what you do, and you'll have that connection. And if they need what you're selling, or you maybe a bit after, you can chat about that. Then you have a potential customer.
Zoom is the new reality, right? At this point in time, or some sort of a virtual conferencing way is what the new normal is, if you'd like to say it that way.
Yeah, I think Zoom is, Zoom was there before the pandemic. I used it all the time.
Okay.
Now it's only more and more people accept it. So it's just easier than ever to have a meeting with people, even if you're not in the same place. And it's super easy to record it, so why not do something with that?
I think perfect, Lauren, and thank you so much for all of these insights.
If you think it through holistically, and you think like, okay, so you want to sell to people, right? Secondly, the people that you're connected with should see interesting content. And third, on the long run, maybe you can even get traffic for the articles that you've been creating.
Yes. And
you need to think through like, okay, what are the topics that people would look for that are related to my business?
Sure.
You think through these keywords. You then go check like, what is it that people are looking for exactly when they type these keywords? You map that out. And then you start matching the things. You're like, okay, there's this topic on Google ads for a specific whatever, and then you see like, could I interview one of these people on that? Then do that, have the interview, create a transcript.
Sure.
And then you have an article, and it's very easy. You don't have to spend a whole lot of time,